Okay, if music is a skill, and musicians are like any other skill, like carpenters or whatever, get better over time, then why is it that musicians don't always release
Bangers.
more and more successful music?
Yeah.
Right?
Because maybe the people don't relate to that personal story anymore.
Bang.
Right.
Yeah. Because what you're communicating is not just what you feel, but it's also whether the people in that moment can accept what you are saying.
Yeah. So then it's like they say the struggling musician is key, right? Because I would say majority of the world is poor compared to rich, right?
Yes.
So if you are poor, you can definitely tell
You know
a story.
more things.
More people can relate.
100%.
Then when you make it, right, then you
Forget already, bro.
Welcome to another episode of Revelry Podcast, and today our special guest is Lincey.
Hello.
Yeah,
What's
multidisciplinary, from music, from administrative, from creative, everything, you know. So I think like a lot of people don't know this experience is that even you join a lot of DJ competition or you are like very well versed in your skill, at the end of the day, everything still boils down to an opportunity. And I think for him, right, he is one of the main reasons why I managed to get into Zouk. Yeah, that's a fact. Because even though I win a lot of DJ competition and I got scouted by Jeremy Boone also, like he's like, hey, this guy to look out for. But if there is like a full plethora of residents and they don't need any residents really, right, then they would not have gotten me. And then Lincey is of course thinking of like going to like greener patches, like to further his career. And the moment he left Zouk, and then I managed to get in. So
You were there before I left, right?
Yeah, there's a transitional period. Yeah.
I remember one of the first times you
But guess lah.
played a Velvet dance with Jeremy Boone, right?
No, not Jeremy Boone. It was actually a DJ battle.
Ah.
Yeah. So I never actually have like a gig lah. Then other than that, it's like Future with like Grizzle Grand Crew or whatever.
Oh, only when I left then you joined full time,
Like officially lah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think maybe I joined for a few months. Then after that, like a transitional period lor.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess for yourself also, you also have the started from the bottom, now we're here kind of, you know. So maybe we can look at like the beginning, right? Even before Zouk lah, you were like an avid dance music lover, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But was it always dance music? Or is it like band first, like MGMT, Justice? Is Justice band?
Not really, but
Electronic,
okay.
right?
But Justice and DNT is actually like perfect. That's where it all started. I mean, at the beginning, we didn't really understand what was dance music. It was just music. We went to the club, and the club was known for playing house music. Velvet had its own sound, and Zouk had its own sound, and Future had its own sound.
Yes.
But
correct,
at
very
the
distinct.
beginning of the electro boom, suddenly, you know, I believe it was Wayne who started RSG.
RSG is the Ready, Set, Go night of
Ready,
Zouk
Set,
Singapore,
Go.
and it plays, is it Balearic music?
No, RSG played like what we call like French electro,
French electro.
right? Like Justice, Simian Mobile Disco, Kitsune. That was kind of like where it started. And then soon after, like there was this explosion. So I think Hong picked up on it. I remember Sophie and Hong were like, Hong was tasked with building the night that brought in the new kids to Velvet.
I think he's like the main room OIC like that lah. Then he's supposed to craft the sound for that room.
For Velvet at the point of time.
At the point of Velvet.
Old Velvet Underground. So it was the Saturdays with Hong. And Hong started playing like Rage Against the Machine, but Sebastian remix. I think it was Sebastian remix. Started playing like Red Hot Chili Peppers, The Killers. And that kind of like brought all of us into this world because we knew all these artists, but we didn't know the sound. The sound was new. The sound was just like French electro, and it was exciting, but it was raw, but it was still rock, and it was very fun at the same time.
2008, 2009?
2006 to 7 to 8 to 9, yeah, around there. Yeah. I think it started at 6, but 6 I was maybe a bit too young. I remember the first time going to Zouk, it was it Busy P? It was either Busy P or Ed Banger Crew, and that was when we heard for the first time Killing in the Name Sebastian remix, I think. And I was like, yo, this is a club song, which was unbelievable. And from there I got hooked. I started to learn a bit more. The truth is, like, I wanted to be a DJ from a very young age.
Even before clubbing?
Before clubbing. My dad was in music. So my dad used to like be a producer as well as like some dabbles within like Chinese music distribution. So I went to his office a lot, and we had a lot of CDs. And when I was younger, I'll put the CD in the CD machine. I mean, in the, what do you call the CD machine?
Discman, Walkman.
Yeah, in the hi-fi system or whatever.
Yeah.
And I play for his office, and I get a kick from seeing how people react. And since then, every time I picked a song for whether it's a car or for a friend or whatever, each time I always got like a small kick. So after I went to Zouk, and I was like, okay, I kind of shelved it. It's not a very like realistic career when I was in secondary school. But then after I went to Zouk, I was like, yo, this shit is mad. I like it so much. Let's just try to do it. Yeah.
So, so how did you like manage to get this gig in Zouk?
Wow. Okay, I can name drop a lot of very important people.
Yeah, so we can. Hey, that's just like that's good, man. Then we can bring them on the podcast also.
2011 was the first time I played a show. It was for a birthday party. I bought my CDJ 400s back then from Anne. Shout out VMC.
Yeah, classic.
And I had a gig, and the gig offered me $50.
Oh, standard.
$50, 6 hours.
Oh,
I had to bring my CDJ 400, which is like this big, right?
CDJ. Oh, okay, yeah.
To Changi and back. So basically, I made negative money, but I played and it was fun. And somebody at that party knew a certain Mr. Daniel Cheng.
Oh,
who then asked me to play at Indochine on a Thursday, which was when I first met DJ Nash D.
Damn, Daniel Cheng is in everybody's origin story. What the heck, man?
So I played Indochine, and it was really, really fun, and it was good.
Yeah.
But the big break came when Mr. Haas,
DJ Haas,
DJ Haas,
DJ Haas, yeah.
asked me to play Tanjung Beach Club.
Oh.
So I played Indochine one time, and then Mr. Haas asked me to play TBC Sundays, which I did for about 2 months, and then Mr. Wayne asked me to play Velvet Lounge.
Ooh.
So it was very, very quick. It was in the span of like 3 months. I went from no gigs to Velvet Lounge. But it was also kind of like what you said. At a point of time, they needed somebody who kind of understood, number one, the Velvet crowd, which I knew because I was the Velvet crowd.
Yes.
And at the same time, I guess, young enough to learn the ropes, but still maybe has some flair or whatever. I mean, I tried before that, and I failed before as well. Like I sent my mixtape to like Hong or Wayne, and I got rejected, many times. But just so happened that once the gigs started coming in, then it just kind of went forward with that.
Right. You kind of got the what you call it, like resume or experiences from other places.
Kinda, but also importantly, like the sound that I was playing at the point in time, nobody at my age was playing yet. Which was like that Velvet sound, or what we come to know as that Velvet sound. At the point of time, it was not so, say, prominent. People mostly play like ghetto style, like top 40s at that point of time.
Yeah.
So I think if they wanted somebody to fit that room, then I kind of fit the bill a bit.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. Everybody just want to play the cheese, right? But oftentimes, right, it is the alternative rooms, right, they are looking for new talent. Because the cheese is like, everybody's already playing already, and there's no shortage of DJs that are playing cheese. And then if you want to get into a big institute and you play cheese, right, then you are like shooting yourself in the foot lah, basically.
The funny thing is that I never considered it like cheese or not cheese. I didn't know the difference. I just played what I like. But I guess what you like as a basis of your own personality, then you can kind of like adapt from it. If you like pop music and you can be better at pop music than anybody else, then go for that. Right? Like you kind of adjust it according to your personality and what also is, I guess, needed in the market at that point in time.
Yeah, correct.
If there wasn't for Lincoln, who created this room where we could experiment and try new stuff and new sounds, I would never have gotten the chance as well. I don't think. 'Cause I never joined any competition. I wasn't like technically very skillful. It was just like selection and
right.
Yeah.
Then how did the meeting with Lincoln Cheng came to be?
I didn't meet Lincoln. I didn't interview Lincoln. I only interviewed with Wayne.
Yeah.
Wayne asked me a few questions, which I kind of still remember. He asked me what I thought about certain bands like the Black Kids, Chromeo. You kind of tested my knowledge on the indie side of the dance scene.
Which is your forte, you know?
At the point of time, I kind of knew, so yeah, it was good. Yeah, and I think also like,
So Wayne is general manager Zouk Singapore at that time.
at that time, yeah. At that time, he was here at Entertainment, not even general manager.
Here on Entertainment.
Yeah.
Correct.
Funny story is that he first gave me an internship at Zouk, which was unheard of because like, what are you supposed to do?
Everything all.
But in the end, I ended up like doing soldering wires for racks and fixing some speakers and stuff like that. It was quite fun to learn also.
Okay. So you kind of learn the ropes literally from like the AV department all the way to the DJs and the music selection.
DJ Boone and Jeremy Boone and DJ B, when they were playing in the main room, I would have a notebook and I literally would record every single song they play.
Some no Shazam.
No Shazam.
got no pad. Yeah.
Notepad, and I put the timing of the timestamp of like when they transit out. Because it was so hard that the hardest thing last time was how do you know when to go, when to exit, without the waveform on the CDJ. If you use CDs, right, you don't see anything. So you kind of have to remember like 131 out, 131 is a 6 bar, 8 bar, whatever, you know. And then from there you build like the muscle memory of like, okay, instinctively I know like each chorus is like 8 bars or whatever.
Yeah.
But before that it's like, how do you even know where is anything? So I went to main room and I literally wrote down like song, how long they played for, when they exited, what was the reaction of the crowd. Because then you understand like,
then how do you describe the reaction? It's like 1 upon 10,
yeah,
2
good
upon 10,
or
3 upon 10.
Hype or like mad or whatever. I remember because like there was very early on I realized that it's not about what song you play, but how you play and when you play.
Yeah.
And like these two guys, Jeremy Boone and DJ B, were the best at just playing the right song at the right time, filled with all the other stuff that you know that you were also excited to learn about or just be able to just appreciate as well. And I realized that like, okay, then that's the case. Then you know it's all about control, it's all about timing, it's all about build up, it's all about release. You know, it's all these kind of small little things. Of course, I made mistakes as well, but like by learning the ropes this way, kind of forced myself to be like really precise in the early part of my career, like you know, as close as you can be to the really good DJs.
Yeah, I guess like very different from certain groups of musicians where they do things by feel, right? I guess for one thing that I'm similar to you is I'm very like calculating and calculative also about like the timing and all that kind of stuff, because like I guess that just kind of makes the most sense to us. Because I guess when you're new and then you do everything by feel, right? Then your feel is like very...
Your feel is not good, bro.
Not that good.
Your instinct is not that good, yeah.
So from those people that like literally pick things up from by feel all the way to their pro level, that's like some next level. You know?
I mean, they call it talent, I guess.
Yeah, lor.
Yeah. But at the same time also, it's like a bit of both, right? Like there's so many times where you're pressured or you're put in a position whereby it's unfamiliar to you. And then how do you draw upon what to do next is basically what you call instinct. But like if your instinct is not quite up to scratch, you make a mistake. And I guess you can learn from it. That's still, in the future, it's still going to be your instinct, you know? Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you have a lot of interaction with Wayne. And Wayne also plays a very huge part in the music scene in Singapore. And did he kind of like affect the way you look at music, or you have already have that kind of like more eclectic taste or like...
No. I did not. I don't consider myself to have eclectic taste now. But everybody at that club they're all giants, you know, like Aldrin, Jeremy, Brendan P, DJ B, you know, like Agent Wee, you respect their music taste so much and they rub off a lot on you.
Right.
To them also, you know, they have their biases towards like house music or all of that, right? So as a young DJ, you know, I'm like, okay, I need to learn like the proper, you know, like the real, the underground, the house. At the same time, I'm not sure whether it affected me a lot other than how I saw certain kinds of music. I think there was a good side of it to being like on the edge of the house scene or the dance music scene, because you get to push more music. But at the same time also, I think maybe that would have affected the way that I have programmed or played music or done certain things a certain way at that point of time, which for better or for worse is just the way that it was.
Yeah, right. I remember back then, Biden, also known as DJB, also known as Formative, gave me the rocket explanation, right? So the whole entire night, maybe you just have 10 rockets, but you have to build up to each rocket. From one rocket, build up to another rocket.
You do, you do. Otherwise, it's flat.
Yeah, and so if you try to be too experimental, cannot. You try not to be experimental, then it's like boring. So it's like a fine balance.
It is, but I mean, like now that I'm older, also when I think about how like sets are programmed in the first place, right? The entire idea is for people to stay as long as possible in the club. Right?
It's like a marathon.
Because then they spend the most amount of money, right? As in, you maximize the time spent, maximize ROI. So like, if you ask yourself this question, like where did warm-up DJs even come from? And where did main DJs even come from? Why is this even a thing? These are all things that are results or effects of the capitalistic side of the club, right? Which is like, you need to make money, right? How do we make the most amount of money? We have a warm-up DJ who like bores them for 2 hours, or like not really bore, like keeps them on edge, right? And then we have a main DJ who takes them over the edge, and then in this way, the return is marginally better or drastically better.
A contrast.
Yeah. But then we, as like any kind of operating DJ, suddenly we feel like this is the Bible. It has to always be this way. No, it's not true. It's just a matter of like what in the circumstances fits best. Of course, in this way, what I come to learn about that way is that it's also really good for a night out because you get to go on the journey. But the journey is good. It's good. When you actually go onto it and you realize that it really makes sense for me to like get in here and slowly build here and then leave at like right at the peak, and then for the whole night out is like super fun and it makes a lot of sense. So I guess from a consumer standpoint, also from like a DJ standpoint, then when it kind of like both sides have purpose, then you can kind of say, okay, that's my philosophy, that's what I want to do. I mean, it's not forced into anybody now. As you can see from like clubs now, it's like, I don't think it's very like standard operating procedure anymore, like early hours or late hours or whatever, right? It's just...
not outside of Zouk lah.
Yeah, it just kind of just
not
goes,
outside.
right?
Zouk's really still maintaining the standard.
Because Jeremy is still there.
He will nag and he will win. He will win, dude. Yeah, his willpower is over 9,000.
I find that pipe, that kind of clubbing is great. Like if I go to, when I do Total Recall, I do any other genre as well. It makes sense that we kind of take this journey together. There's a huge spectrum of music.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy each kind of component.
Spotlighting more artists as well, rather than just one style.
Yeah.
Which is the banging.
And one level of energy.
Yeah, correct. So flat. Yeah, especially even in the main set, right? If you can have the balls, right, to take a dip, right, and let people chill out for
I love that the most, yeah.
Yeah. Then people can chill, or they can go to the bar and top up drinks and increase ROI and come back.
Of course, people gotta go pee.
Yeah.
You gotta give your dance floor time to breathe.
Yeah. That's the way, man.
It's a key in one of my sets. Always when you see three songs ahead, we always have this thing.
Right.
And then you just know like when you want to bring them up, you gotta know when you're gonna bring them down and when you're gonna bring them up again after that.
Right.
You balance each peak, each trial with like an ebb and flow, like a movie, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, climax, twist.
Yeah, twist. And with some drum and bass.
You think it's over, but it's not. Yeah. That's when it feels really good.
You think it's over, then Danny Tenaglia take over. Plus another 9 more hours.
McDonald's come in.
McDonald's, yeah. Hey, maybe you can share with us the Danny Tenaglia story, man. I think it's like quite epic.
Danny was one of Lincoln's favorite DJs. I'm not very, very clued in to all the facts because I'm also considered like new. But Danny was basically like the guy that always played, I think, Anniversary. I think it was Zouk Anniversary.
Once a year kind of.
Yeah, and he would always do like this like 9 to 9 kind of sets.
Yeah.
I think one of the times he did the 9 to 9 at like 7 a.m. Lincoln ordered breakfast.
For the whole club?
For the whole club, yeah. Like for people who were still there.
Okay.
People that were still there.
Yeah.
Breakfast came and then it became a huge thing. Like every time Danny is here, people started at 9 o'clock. People expect the party at 9 o'clock. But I think after that, maybe he came like 1 or 2 times after, and it was kind of late still, but never as late as that one time, which was like
Older already lah.
tired
already.
Yeah, it's crazy lah. 12 hours is nonsense.
Yeah, man. I heard like some people will be like 6 o'clock, they'll go back and shower, then by 7 or 7:30 they'll come back and then got buffet, everything, then they'll kiap the food.
I can't remember if it was a buffet or what was it. There was definitely food.
Yeah.
The closest thing that I can remember similar to that was the closing of Jiak Kim. Because Hong and I played until I think 9 a.m. And then at about 7 o'clock, the marathoners started coming in, stand chart marathon. And we knew like, okay, it's bright outside.
So after RSG, and then did Belleric came after that?
No, Belleric was before that.
But they
Belleric
kind of like brought it back,
right?
Maybe for the closing party.
Yeah, for the closing time, Belleric, I would say, encapsulated the sound of Velvet quite well. That was kind of like the main idea behind Velvet. Outside of like all the new stuff that eventually came in, there was the original idea, like this Belleric, Ibiza style house club.
Is that the original identity of Zouk?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. My history is maybe wrong. I hope I don't get it wrong.
Yeah.
But pretty sure 1991, Lincoln opened Zouk from the basis of having gone to Ibiza and having experienced house music culture there.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, I want to do this. Which, if you think about it, is crazy.
Yeah, it's very risky, high risk.
At that point in time, nobody thought that it could work. Or everybody wanted to do karaoke's.
Yeah.
But Lincoln was like, no, if you guys want to do it, I'll do it myself. And he did. And without him, like we wouldn't probably have the same kind of education that we had.
Yeah.
Or I would say I would go as far as to say like Southeast Asia wouldn't have an education that it had without this one club being like this staple, bringing in all these electronic acts from the 90s, like all the way until now.
The first club with its own festival.
Yeah, crazy.
Super insane.
I can't remember who was the DJ. I think it was Paul Van Dyke. I don't want to get this wrong because it's important, but every time he bought a record, he would buy 2 record copies and send one to Lincoln.
Whoa.
And that's how we had like such a huge library at one point in time.
I mean, Lincoln is always like a futurist, and he support up and coming artists, including a very young Hardwell,
Yes.
Yeah, like stay at his house and everything. And then now he's like superstar. He still come and visit and stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's frankly
Amazing.
quite amazing, yeah. So from Zouk, the creation, and then comes Zouk Out, of course. And then what is your Zouk Out experience? Is it like, I still remember the first time when I played Zouk Out, it was so like mad, It's like
Unbelievable, right?
Yeah, you as the resident, and I was at the time the stage manager, right? There's so many moving pieces and you just cannot control everything, but you still need to keep everything under control. And including the DJ before you and the DJ after you.
Yeah, at the point of time, it was not so hectic. I think all the like people knew what to play. I think I played like openings most years, except for 1 year I played closing. Even the openings was super fun. Like just playing on that stage, right? It's like, and that you got there from like just like as a Zouk resident, right?
Yeah.
It's
mad.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling. Even if there are like 6 people dancing at 8 p.m, right? It feels good still. Like you play on that big stage, like it's kind of like a big part of any DJ's career. And I don't know, for us as well, like I guess importantly, we had to know our role at that festival.
Correct.
And play the role because that builds up to the entire thing. Yeah.
Agree. Because in the year that I remember that I played like a few years, but I think it was the first one. And then before me, the DJ was playing like 150 BPM all the way to 0 people. Yeah, and we are at the Moon stage, which is the underground stage.
Yeah.
And then he's like playing bangers. And then when I took over, I'm just like, yo, what the fuck? What do I do, man? And then I just like decided to just play 3 Bob Marley songs, right, back to back, right? Let it just autoplay, right? And then I just sit under the DJ console.
For real?
Like, yeah, I did. Then after that, right, until everything died down already, right? Then I still remember the
you start again,
Yeah, Nicole was like, hey, where's this guy? Nicole was like, where's this guy? Then I'm like, hey, I just want to like clear the sound. And literally there's like only like maybe 2 people on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And that space can fit like 5,000-6,000 people. It's like huge.
150 BPM at what time?
before my set law, which is like maybe I think 7 to 8.
Wow, that's...
And then I was 8 to 9.
Yeah.
Then 9 to 10 was cold flow. Then somebody else, Snake Hips, then Toki Monster or something like that, right? So luckily, cold flow was like, hey, we need to plan our set. Let's synergize so that we don't clash, and then we can lead up to them. And I love it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then luckily, in the middle of my set, right, literally the dance floor from 0 to 5,000 real quick. And we just bam, and I'm like, what? And I literally can play anything.
Yeah, they move to anything.
They move, and then I just like, okay, I need to play my role. Warm up means warm up.
Don't get too excited.
Yeah,
right?
and then I just play the vibes, and everybody just vibing. I'm like, what?
The first time you play behind a set and you play a song that is kind of like mellow, or you don't think that will actually move, and people move, your mind explodes.
Yeah. I mean, because you do in normal day, Zouk is like, just doesn't work, you know. People need more. But when in festival, they are very forgiving also.
I've seen it happen so many times with Jeremy, so like whenever he like pulls back and he uses less to translate more information, make the crowd move at the same level of energy, at a lower BPM, 126. Because relatively, if you start the whole night at 122, you go to 126 is banging in already.
Yeah.
And when the first time I saw that happen, I was like, it's magic, because you realize that it's not what you play, it's how you play. And then from there, you can kind of like go. Of course, it's easier said than done. I mean, if I was a resident DJ now, I'm sure I would also have a lot of trouble keeping up with the energy, because my style is not like all the way flat out, you know. But also why I guess like I thought it was time to
move on to the next thing, man. So there's definitely many more stories that we can talk about Zouk lah, but I think it's great that we can move on to the next chapter right after Zouk, right? And I think you go to YouTube, or you do some of your own stuff first before you go to YouTube?
I did some of my own stuff first before YouTube.
So you did there's a Panda, the duo with you and Purp High Track.
Yeah, no, that was still during Zouk times. Yeah, Pandasaurus.
Pandasaurus, yeah.
Pandasaurus.
Yeah.
Purp is a great guy. We wanted to do something fun. The name is kind of just like a really random name at a point of time. But that was still during Zouk time. That was still when I was doing Recess, when trap was still kind of like on the rise / down. It happened so fast that you don't know when it was the...
Yeah, correct. That's the curse of the halftime music.
Yeah.
It just cannot last. Maybe in Asia.
It was really fun to see it come up though.
Yeah. It's like, oh my god, we can do hip hop in main room.
Yeah, because it was a few things as well. It was trap, it was trap, it was
Jersey club.
It was Jersey, it was future bass.
Yeah,
you know, it was a few things at the same time, around the 140 to 150 BPM, 160 or so sometimes.
Yeah.
That like kind of took what we understood to be like EDM onto the next level.
Yeah.
With like Major Lazer and Skrillex, Diplo, Jack U, that kind of stuff as well.
So from fist pump to like vibe.
Yeah.
Throwing elbows.
It was so fun to see that trend come into fruition. So because we know like Zouk, right? Whenever we do a night, right? We're thinking like okay, we're not thinking like today. We're thinking like 1 year from now, is this sound going to be relevant?
Correct.
You remember like all the nights that we ever plan, like it's always like we try to. Sometimes the nights don't come through, but whenever we plan a night, we try to plan like 1 year ahead. We build the crowd 1 year in advance so that when the trend does come, you are the only or the best night around.
Correct.
Yeah. And we saw that trend coming through. It was post Avicii that people like Flosstradamus, RL Grime, Diplo, getting a lot of traction. And we're doing all these wild things like playing hip hop in EDM sets.
Yeah.
And people were like, yo, okay, we get it. And because at the same time, hip hop was also kind of like trending or in the zeitgeist.
Right.
Drake, Kanye, etc. So suddenly there was this like little bit of like this middle ground that provided this like, okay, you can play Venga Boys and then you can play trap. Which kind of made it a bit more exciting for people also who are kind of like maybe saturated or jaded with the euphoric melodic EDM kind of stuff. Progressive house.
Yeah.
So we could kind of see that coming, and then we can kind of plan for that kind of trend to come true. We didn't think that it would come through the way that it did or last however long it lasted, but it did come through, even though it died soon after. As well.
Correct. And then there's also, it kind of like jumpstart again when San Holo came.
Yeah, then the future bass thing came.
Yeah.
Where Jai Wolf, Burn.
Yeah, burn, yeah. So I guess really one of the secrets for a music trend to start is if you start importing more of the artists, but then the cost factor and everything.
Oh, I have a lot to say about trends.
Okay, man. Yeah.
I think about this quite a bit because like what is a trend? But then suddenly you realize, there are certain patterns within trends,
Okay.
right? So first of all, the trend always reflects the perception at that point in time.
Maybe you can expand on that point, like the perception at that point.
So the perception of the people who are probably within their age group who are most exposed to music or most engaging with music, 15 to 24, around this age group. But how do they decide what they call music they like? So if you go back to, let's say, I don't want to go too far, like maybe 80s, we see the rise of Swedish pop music and ABBA, that whole saturation sound, like the whole like mambo jumbo sound basically.
Yep.
And the moment that became the trend, or that became everything that everybody listened to, at a point of time, a counter trend started, a revolution started, because people were so sick of that trend. But what was the next sound after that?
Hip hop?
I think it was rock.
Rock,
Yeah, so like late 80s and 90s, you start to see like AC/DC, Red Hot Chili Peppers, like Nirvana, like the birth of Nirvana coincides, I think, with that saturation point. It's just like people are just too tired with all these like A B kind of formatting and looking for something different, something more angry. If you go back a bit further, okay, I guess maybe to start it off, like the hippie thing in the 70s, it's when like the Beatles. So it kind of reflected the people who were most engaged with that, with the music at that point in time, and all the love stuff, and then became, each time the cycle progresses, it takes on the counter thesis of the previous trend, because the previous trend becomes too saturated. So after rock, there's hip hop. After hip hop, goes back to pop, but the pop takes on a different variant, which is like the 2000s pop. Right, which is like the Britney, etc. After pop, what do we have? We have the punk. So every time it goes one way, it reaches a saturation point, and then a counter movement begins. So same we see with like dance music. Dance music, I guess, became more and more popular because of the explosion of like internet, and we get to see more and more of these kind of artists move around. At the same time, dance music picked up the elements from the pop stuff, which was first like the Avicii stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then after it took elements from the rock stuff.
Yeah.
And then it took elements from hip hop.
Yeah.
But dance underlying being part of what people engage with, delivers the message of the trend at that point in time.
Right.
Yeah. So every time we see something come up, there's always something that's just bubbling under, trying to counter it. Like COVID time, we see people like Billie Eilish, Olivia Rodrigo, even now like TikTok. What kind of music is being produced now? Based on the medium that people that are engaging with the most.
I mean, during COVID, it's a lot of lo-fi.
Yeah, why?
Yeah, because it's like people sick of the banging already.
Exactly, yeah,
and
exactly.
the counter is the lo-fi, but then too much lo-fi after COVID,
and
now come back to banging again.
It's true. It really reflects like what people are feeling at that point in time.
Yeah.
And but then it takes on an evolution each time it moves a bit further down the line.
So I mean, we are almost like at the 2-year mark of after COVID already, right? I think so, right? Yeah. So what's next? So now it's like banging already. I guess maybe next is something more chill.
I don't know. I mean, okay, I can't tell.
But your perspective, your opinion, yeah.
So the way I see it is that the thing that identifies this period of time is no more genres. It's people don't consume music based on genres anymore.
Yes.
They don't watch videos based on genres. They don't like music based on genres. So that's the first thing that I think is going to go out the window. It's going to be replaced by hybrids of all kinds of things. Now, if people have access to like Ableton and FL and all these kind of production things, people can just sit down with no music background and write what they like. If they like hip hop and EDM, they write hip hop EDM. Who knows? So that's how it kind of starts, right? All these kids doing TikToks about what if this song was this song, or what if, and then suddenly like a new genre kind of comes together again. Starter house.
Starter house.
Yeah.
What's that?
You know what starter house? I don't know how to
You
explain.
know starter house? What's starter house?
It's this new kind of house. I didn't let you hear.
Yeah.
On TikTok one.
Kinda?
Yeah.
It birthed from TikTok. Is it like feng,
No.
feng, right?
Techno, but like
Yeah.
with the kick.
It's like lo-fi techno.
Fong is like no, starter house is like it's like the LFO but 4/4. So the future based LFO but 4/4.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then the drums are dun.
Yes.
Done.
So that's kind of like birth from like people just trying shit that they like. They like the LFO from future bass, but they like the house from the 4/4. They like from the house. Put together, suddenly okay, people, more and more people like it as well. It takes somebody who really is confident and comfortable
Bender.
in just how they feel about what they want to make.
Yeah.
Just start to push all these boundaries and not care about what it sounds like or what artists they sound like.
That's the thing, when we do revelry nights, right, we kind of still have that counter problem where we started off, right, with like playing an open format night where the first guy will be playing house, second guy will be playing techno, and then the third guy will be like playing bass music. And then the audience cannot take it, you know. They're like, oh, it's like too drastic already.
I get it.
Yeah, so I guess maybe not at that stage yet.
So we got to think about genres. Okay, I think we got to think about genres as its initial purpose, or why even have genres in the first place? Well, why do we even have genres? And as humans, we really like to classify and box and make sense of things.
Yes, correct.
If we have a sound and there's a sound with no name, we're just like, what the hell is this? I can't like it. I need to know a name.
Natural
What is a
inclination.
name?
Yeah.
And therefore we have genres to kind of like quickly, catalog what things sound like. Yeah. But towards the point of which that it's no longer beneficial for you. If I say I'm gonna play melodic, progressive, hardcore death metal house.
Starter house.
Yeah. What does that even mean?
What the fuck,
You know
bro?
what I mean? Like there's so many things now. Like people say like, oh, I really like melodic. I don't know. Just add like 3 different words of house music. And
Adjectives.
then, but if it doesn't make sense towards like the enjoyment of it or the digestion of it, then it doesn't make sense. But if you talk about being back into a night, right?
Yeah.
Why is it that you can genre bend in the night and why you cannot genre bend in the night? Because you're still working within people's expectations, right? So if you go like 150, then you go 120, it's not that genres can't go together, but if you're playing a night, you are also subverting their expectation at that point in time.
Yeah.
Which is not very comfortable for humans. You get what I mean?
Wow, fucking deep or what? It's like we know, but we like cannot put into words or something like that, right?
Knowing it is actually like super telling also, because like when you hear a song for the first time and you really like the song, your first instinct is always like, I feel like I know this song.
Okay.
You know? It's like why is it that this song is talking to you? You know? And I ask myself this question, like what makes a good song a good song? Ooh, this deserves to be on the podcast. So I've told this theory to like, I think about 20 people.
Okay.
And every time I'm like, okay, they're like, oh, I'm gonna steal it. Okay.
Yeah, major keys.
Okay. Hopefully nobody else says it first. Okay, so I thought about this question. If music is a skill, and musicians are like any other skill, like carpenters or whatever, get better over time, then why is it that musicians don't always release
Bangers.
more and more successful music?
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
There always seems to be this threshold of about 3 albums, roughly. The max. Like there's some people with like 3 great albums, I would say like they're like GOAT status. Maybe some people have like 4 arguably, but very, very, very few.
Unless you're some Eminem.
Very few.
Yeah.
Even then, Eminem, how many great albums does he have?
Yeah.
Great, like fully great albums.
Yeah.
So the question then becomes why? If they get better over time, why is it that the music doesn't
Because maybe the people don't relate to that personal story anymore.
bang?
Right.
Yeah. Because what you're communicating is not just what you feel, but it's also whether the people in that moment can accept what you are saying.
Yeah. So then it's like they say the struggling musician is key, right? Because I would say majority of the world is poor compared to rich, right?
Yes.
So if you are poor, you can definitely tell
You know
a story.
more things.
More people can relate.
100%.
Then when you make it, right, then you
Forget already, bro.
People cannot relate.
Kanye West.
Yeah, Taylor Swift or
Yeah.
But Taylor Swift is banging though.
I mean, when you have people to write for you.
What the hell?
Co-write. Let me get it straight. Co-write. Yeah.
Okay lah, whatever lah.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I think it really depends. So, like, pop music as a form of consumption, as a form of like expression, it's not maybe as determined or as dependent on real storytelling, but rather just like hooks.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a good hook and you have a beautiful artist, chances are you have some kind of K-pop, yeah. But if you talk about like real music that really, when you hear it, you're like, your heart sings. Like, where has this song been? You know, I feel like I've known this feeling before, but this is the first time somebody has put this feeling into words.
Wow.
And suddenly you're like, I love this song, I love this band. I think of a few examples like the Beatles, or like I really like the Killers, or like okay, let's think of any word that has been said before, right? In a song. And if you thought of a better way to say that word, that phrase before, chances are you haven't, if that song is as good as it is. I give examples like if you think of a song that you like, okay, I want to say like the Beatles or something, like love, 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 love makes the world go round. Has anybody managed to say those words better than them since then? You know,
I guess maybe it like comes together with the instrumentation and the chords and everything.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is part of the thing. So okay, so
okay. Oh my God.
Melody, what's going on there? You know, like why music? So, what I think is language as communication is incomplete. It's
correct.
Created by people, but not quite enough to express the entirety of the human existence.
Correct.
And music is just like the support to help you say even more things.
Yeah. Correct. Like what Elon Musk said, the mouth or the thumbs, right, are very inefficient tools. So if we can have like mind transfer, that would be like the most efficient.
You can feel it, right? Because if you something as simple as like love, right? We cannot really kind of define it, but we genuinely know how it feels like. You know, and when you hear it in a song, it's more understandable than if I say it to you. So music does that.
That's true. Yeah. Wow. I like lost my train of thought, man. Because it really makes a lot of sense, lah. And like if you translate it into like YouTube, right, which is like your next stage of a career, you look at somebody like Mr. Beast. How is he able to constantly churn out 1 out of 10 videos, 1 out of 10 videos, 2 out of 10 videos? Constantly, his next video is better than his next. You know, so it kind of, because at the end of the day, I think he's also like an artist of sorts, or he is an artist, and we can kind of like bring it back into like songwriting or like music production. You know, why didn't anyone in the music space replicate that kind of
People
level?
do, but not the artists, the songwriters. Max Martin.
Yes, I want to talk about Max Martin. Yes, just now you were saying that the mouth is like very, like not enough to say whatever you feel, right? And I think Max Martin has kind of like cracked the code where because he's Swedish and English is not his first language, he writes something
very simple.
and more people enjoy
Exactly,
it.
K-pop, the same thing.
But
that's kind of counter progressing to before, right? Where your lyricists are super metaphorical. They talk in circles. Your John Lennon or what's the guy's name?
Literally can be any of your rappers.
Yeah, like you talk in circles because you're supposed to be like layers, right?
Yeah, like entendre or something, right?
Double entendres or many entendres, but at the same time also like you have metaphors or other kind of like literary devices that you use to translate more meaning for people who speak English.
Yes.
Right? But because most of the world doesn't speak English. So the people that get the most audience are the people that keep it as simple as possible.
It's like the same one. The chords cannot be too crazy also. Then, you know, people can like get hooked into it.
Yeah, we land on 4. You know, I mean, not always. It's not always you do it, you get it, right? But if you do it to the extent of delivering what you're trying to do, then you will find more success in that realm of which that you are trying to tackle. If you're trying to write music that connects with people's hearts, that really impacts people's lives, then you have to go and live a life that is worth saying, to find stories or find experiences worth telling. You know, like a lot of musicians want to say, I want to tell my story. What makes your story worth telling? You know, Like a lot of these big people or people who become very, very famous have captured some kind of perspective that only they can tell. That they are the best at telling, you know, whether it's like Billie Eilish or Olivia Rodrigo or whoever who kind of like encapsulates something that has an Ed Sheeran. He's the best at saying that kind of story. You know what I mean? Like he lives that kind of life and he can tell that kind of story. And
Correct. And I guess that also gives rise to superstar DJs like David Guetta or Calvin Harris, where they just produce the beat behind other people's stories. And then they present it to the world.
Which is great because producers get way more credit now.
You know, correct. Not like before, right?
Yeah.
Last time it's just like back credit.
Yeah.
But now it's like you are a featured artist.
Yeah, people like Benny Blanco who are the artists. Even though they don't sing or you know they mostly just write, but they become like the artist. They don't have to sing, which is great because you kind of reward the person who is telling the story or creating the product.
Yeah, then you just get good-looking people to
sing
the story.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, a question that I ask myself is also, what are the odds that every single singer is beautiful and good-looking? What is it like? What kind of odds is there for all the people who can sing really well? They're mostly good-looking. It's not true. It's just that we pick the ones that are good-looking to say the stories.
Can sing.
Yeah.
It's a very strict selection process lah. Not just any Tom, Dick and Harry to be a superstar, right?
It is. Superstar is beyond, I would say, like, to be a superstar is beyond like planning. You can't plan to be a superstar. You can plan to have a career, you can do the whole thing, you know, and you can have like some kind of career in it, but to be accepted into the zeitgeist, it takes chance.
A lot of things. Chance,
a lot of
opportunities, marketing.
A lot of things.
Yeah. And I guess it's like you look at like Jennie, Blackpink, right? And then she stand beside one Singapore Xiao Mei Mei. And then if you don't know who both of them are, they're just like humans. But with a lot of marketing, a lot of brands backing and all that kind of thing, suddenly she's like elevated beyond normal human status.
But I mean, they do bring something to the table, which is unique to themselves as well. Because if you think about Blackpink now, if you replace any of them, one of them doesn't really work anymore.
Also the group synergy, right?
Of course, yeah. So they kind of bring their own thing to the table at the same time. They all do. Even if they are beautiful, they still do something to it. They still help you understand better what the song's saying. They still make you want to watch the video. They still do something. It's not like there's no purpose for it.
Like before I was like quite against it because I feel like it's kind of like not really like real music. It's like manufactured. It doesn't like touch the heart kind of thing. But then recently I'm more into the business aspect, right? Even I gonna suck into K-pop already.
This is the only way that it works because this is the only way it works.
Yeah, I guess like the done were the days where music is just storytelling, you know.
I think honestly, I believe that was kind of done a long time ago. Once the moment we have CDs, the time when we had CDs and records,
when mass distribution is available.
Then it's not really about the story anymore.
I remember the story, right? It's like maybe the guy tell the story sitting on a log and then 3 children's in front. That was the day where you can still tell the story, but now it's more like, you know, how many singles you can pump out.
There's a lot to it. It's not that I don't want to sound pessimistic or at the same time also, because I think that now is better than ever before to be a musician. You can do it yourself.
But everybody can also.
Exactly.
So it levels the playing field.
Exactly, but it's kind of the democratic in a way, right? Because you don't need, you kind of don't have to have a major or somebody backing you to do the fancy music video or whatever. You know, it's not like it's harder for sure, but it's a better chance that you can do something.
Yeah, you could suddenly just go viral for who knows why on TikTok, and then you can build a following from there.
It's the beauty of TikTok.
It's the beauty of TikTok. So maybe you can discuss a little bit about like what's your involvement in YouTube. Of course, you're in the music department also, right?
Okay, so I left Zouk 2018. 2020, I joined YouTube. At that point of time, we were launching YouTube Music in Southeast Asia. So me and my team were responsible to localize the product, make the local playlists available on the app. So we basically created playlists of different genres, local, regional, etc. Like Spotify, like Rap Caviar, that kind of thing.
Ooh.
So we did playlisting. I did playlisting for Southeast Asia.
Right.
At the point of time, yeah.
And of course, YouTube is like a video platform, right?
Yeah.
So I realized that if you search a track by an artist, right, but they didn't upload it on YouTube as a video, it will come out as like a topic or something.
Yes. So topic is the audio track.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like program that aspect, like if it's the artist didn't upload it, but you still can find it on YouTube Music.
The artist did upload it, except that
maybe distribution, not themselves
because
as a
the
video.
medium is different, so they have different rights altogether.
Okay.
So music is music and video is video.
Oh.
Yeah. So you as a music right holders are different from the video right holders.
So if I listen to the music, right, music video, and then I come back and I listen to the song on YouTube Music, right, they will get monetized twice, something like that.
Yes.
Oh.
Because your video gets monetized from AdSense,
Right.
but your music gets monetized from stream count.
Okay. Per play.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So different payment channels because different legal requirements.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we can get really technical into it. Like, what constitute to a stream?
I
Are
think
you even
it's-
allowed to like release this?
I don't think it's private information. I believe it's 30 seconds.
Oh, you need to listen to at least 30 seconds.
Wait, let me think.
Because I think Facebook, you watch a video for 5 seconds, it's considered a view already.
That's a video. Music is different because music is slightly different. Video could be I don't know how long, but music, I believe. Okay, no, I think it's 3. Is it 3 or 15? 3, 15 or 30, you know.
Okay, anybody know, right? Comment down below in the comment section. Let us know, yo.
There are different ways to count, like I guess, depending on platform also.
Yeah. Different platform work different, and of course, you know, YouTube is like trying to compete with TikTok. YouTube is trying to like compete with Spotify as well. Is it like too much to juggle on like YouTube's end, or they have like specialized teams and everything?
I left YouTube quite long ago. About 2021, I was out of YouTube already.
2 years, yeah.
So I'm not sure. I mean, but they are a massive company, so I'm sure that.
Probably have the resources lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still feel that YouTube is like one of the best platforms to survive as a creator lah, of course, because the monetization plan is very fair lah.
Yes.
So I think it's like one of the greatest also.
It's one of the only ones that you can get paid for regularly.
Yeah. So yeah, man, YouTube, one of my favorite platforms, and they kind of like create sustainable income for a lot of its creators, but not the same can be said for Spotify, right? And also, is it because also of the added complexity in like making a song compared to a successful video?
Right? Wow, I'm not sure whether I actually know enough about this to comment very much. I know what is in the public domain, which is that Spotify pays a lot to, I think about $40 billion so far to artists. Was that YouTube? But the thing about Spotify is that it solves a problem that otherwise is even more dangerous than cheap or low-paying streams, which is piracy. Spotify came in to save the industry during a time when nobody was buying music anymore. This model is not sustainable yet, the streaming model. Therefore, it's still kind of like teething. It's still kind of changing.
Right.
Everybody wants a slice of the industry and everything. It takes a long time for any kind of, I guess, like, think about it this way. Spotify has been around for 10 years.
Spotify has been here for 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
In 10 years, so since Spotify has come up, music streaming has become the default listening medium, right? But that has not always been the case. It used to be CDs or Walkman or radio or MTV or whatever.
Offline enjoyment, basically.
Whatever, right? So this is only one version of consumption, right? And if you think about all the ways that people consume music before, what has happened to them?
Obsolete.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you think about it from this perspective, Spotify gave us a solution at that point in time to help us get over this bump of people just piracy. What the future holds in this aspect, people are working towards it, but not quite there yet. You know, like in terms of like just countries with internet penetration is not even like the whole world is there yet. But at this point of time, I guess that all the stakeholders involved are trying to solve this problem, whereby artists get paid, labels get paid, agents get paid, Spotify gets paid because Spotify doesn't really get paid. Also, if you look at their public filings, right? Yeah. So, but you know, what I think is that you know it's changing. If artists feel like it's not fair, that's when revolutions start. That's when you know counter movements start again. That's when you know like different kinds of demands cause people to produce music differently. You know, a TikTok has given rise to the hook in 3 seconds formula because you need to hear the hook immediately. Spotify gave rise to the 2.5 minute song because the shorter the song, the more streams you get. You know. So as the medium changes, as the demands change, people produce music differently. Suddenly, there will be an organic shift towards like, okay, is this working for me? Is my time in this venture worthwhile? Make sense? And if not, what do I want to do about it? Somebody out there will have a way better idea. Hey, you know what? I know how to pay artists more. Hey, you know what? I know how to cut out the middleman. I know how to call out Spotify. Then let them go and do it. Figure out something else, and then the world will benefit from in the long run.
Things will just straighten itself out.
I mean, if you project it out far enough, it will. But I mean, how far you gonna project it out is.
Which kind of gave rise to podcasting, anyways, because I guess like for music to earn money, you are like based on the number of streams, right? But then each song can only like maybe you can only shove one ad, right? Like maybe like they listen to 5 songs, then Spotify will put one ad. So that's like 5 times less than YouTube already. But for podcasts, in between they can keep shoving ads. So that's also where they make the bulk of their money from, you know, 3-hour podcasts, those kind of thing.
Not just the monetization, but the cost of it. Because if you play a song for 3 hours, how many times is that song you play the song? Because if you talk on 3 minutes, it's like 90, you play a song for 90 minutes, that's like 30 times, right? So you pay the rights holders 30 times how much you pay per stream. If I listen to a podcast for 90 minutes, is flat fee.
Flat fee? Podcast is flat fee. One time.
Or like they pay them to produce a podcast or whatever agreement that they have.
Like the Rogan.
But essentially it's cheaper than a song. Hence the heavy investment into podcasting.
And you give rise to all your podcast superstars as well, like the top 10, Call Her Daddy, Joe Rogan podcast, and all the crime stories and whatever. Okay. And so after YouTube, did you still continue to produce music?
Oh, I did. Especially after YouTube, because I took a bit of a break. I wrote some music, which I am excited to put out, but have not finished. I wrote some pop music, so I tried to, in the point of which where I asked myself a lot of very serious questions, just as a growing adult. That helped me to reflect and put me in a position where I'm very comfortable with telling my perspective. This is what I was talking about earlier. So just like saying something that you understand the best and saying the way that you want to say it, basically. Before, when I was writing music, I never wrote like both. I either wrote lyrics or I wrote the beat. I never wrote both before. But when I try to write both, it's very hard because when you have full control, I have no idea what I want to say at that point of time.
Correct.
And I wanted
There's no like guidelines.
There's nothing.
It's free form.
You can say whatever, you know. But if you're a producer, it's easy. You just write the beat. Like, I like the beat. I like how it sounds. You have a reference, you know. And somebody else writes for you, or you get the song. You write the lyrics. Somebody else puts the beat. You fit whatever you think is best to the song. But when everything is just you have to be really sure about what you want to say, because every single thing you say can be said. So if you don't have a story you want to tell, you will never finish the song because your mind can go into like 6 million different variations of like what to say after this line, you know. But once you have something to say, then it's very easy because all you can say is that thing. You get that makes
Yeah, I
sense?
understand. Like, it's basically like you zone in on like the topic,
Yeah.
and then you find the right words and emotion to put into place.
Just to say what you want to say.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to do the opposite, which is trying to fit the song, then you can be anything. You can go a million places. Yeah.
And I think you did something with Gareth Fernandez as well, and it went pretty well, that partnership. Yeah, so maybe you can look towards more of this sorts of angle where there can be like co-writers to kind of like.
Oh, I love writing with Gareth. It's great. We wrote I think 2, 3, 4 songs together. I can't remember how many.
Right.
Yeah. I don't mind co-writing at all because I love people telling their own story as well. Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah. So also it gives rise to we speak to some of our Korean friends when I went to Jeju, and then he says that now in order to kind of make it, you always gotta have a team. You have to have a team. You cannot just one person do everything by yourself.
Unlike
it's
me.
like not sustainable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like maybe when you write a song, you probably need people to help you write a song or somebody to master. Or
Somebody to market for you.
Yeah,
Do video.
Your job is just the general idea.
Yeah, that's better. That's what we're missing actually. There's a big thing in Singapore is infrastructure is missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. I guess
So-
everybody want to be the face.
Yeah, we need infrastructure. We need the pipeline in place so that when there's a talent, you can just be like, hey, okay, talent, go through this machine. This comes out.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is why so many of the talent just go overseas
Yeah.
and use their system.
Because they have the infrastructure there.
Yeah.
Here we have, if you have somebody with a good voice from a young age, and how do you hone them? What is the infrastructure in place? Either they join a big label, or they're gonna learn everything by themselves. If you ever been like a 19-year-old musician, you know that you don't really know anything at that point of time as well.
Then you try an arrow, you take a very big circle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's a journey that you have to kind of do at the same time, because there is no infrastructure, and people who are in the scene now, if there are a lot of people in the music scene who are great people who are trying to build infrastructure, but it takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everything, like to solve the Spotify problem,
So much.
to solve the how do you write a banger every time problem.
Impossible, I think.
Yeah. Okay, before we even go to Total Recall, right, obviously, right now, I think ever since you ended Recess, and then you did Total Recall, right, you stopped DJing your own sound, but then you kind of like found yourself again with your own like private party thing, right? Yeah, I'm quite surprised, and I'm like super excited to go. Then I kena COVID one day. Then I'm like, wow, dude.
Yeah. Actually, like, Total Recall is my sound. I mean, not that I own it, but I like it. It's a representation of me, right? How we started it. I will go there later. Okay. So, but then when I left Zouk, I knew that if I were to play, I would only play what I wanted to play.
Like your artist sound.
Kinda.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like artist is a DJ, not artist is like artist. Because the music that I write and produce is completely different again.
Okay.
You know, I write pop music, but I play pop music, but I don't play what I write.
But why don't though?
Why don't I play what I write? When I'm writing, I don't know, I feel a different sort of expression when I'm playing. When I'm playing, I'm kind of like manifesting people who I take inspiration from. And like being a DJ, I kind of see like, okay, there's this set, there's this song, but there's this programming that makes it interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I try to express myself that way.
Yeah.
But when I'm writing, I'm thinking about like, fuck's wrong with my life? You know, like, what can I talk about that's real? You know, like
I got an idea, man. You can write, right, and then it's very personalized, right? Then you get someone to do a club remix, bro.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
it, man.
For sure, yeah. For sure.
Joshua Dillon, Big Room Techno remix.
down. Yeah. But I mean, like, if there was a time where I wrote club music, kind of like I wrote some like future bass or whatever.
Yeah.
That was because I felt like that was what I needed to do.
Yeah.
But this time, I guess like I'm getting older, and just being more assured with like just who I am and what I want to do. Then I'm like, let's just fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know, I shouldn't care. And part of me being, I guess, like able is that I can do it without thinking about what comes from it.
Oh, you don't need to have expectations. You do it just because you want to do it.
A big part of it, it's like, don't get me wrong, I understand like the balance that we live in Singapore. And everything here is cost money.
Yes.
But at the same time, like I kind of took a page from like the Zouk book, which is you do the thing that you think is going to be great, and then you find out how to make money
From it.
Yeah,
the Zouk origin story. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah.
we kind of balance that.
Yeah.
So I have the total recall thing. If I really wanted to make money, I'm sure I could try to do that.
Yeah.
And not to say that I don't enjoy that as well. I do it too, but like a part of me quitting or being out on my own is so that I get to choose, this.
Because total recall is like just one dimension, and you are like a multifaceted human being, right?
Total recall is one perspective,
one perspective.
One part of it, which is a fun thing.
It's fun, yeah.
Let's not deny
a lot of drinking.
I don't deny myself. Like I love Taylor Swift so much now. I listen to so much Taylor Swift because since the concert got announced, I'm hyped as, like, I'm so hyped. And I've been playing so many weddings for my friends.
Yeah.
And they all love different kinds of music. Whenever I put myself in their perspective, so I get to enjoy the kind of music that they like for a good time. I mean, what's the purpose of a DJ in the first place,
Yeah, entertain the crowd.
Yeah, bring people together, like just get people cohesively experience a shared feeling for 3.5 minutes to up to 3 hours.
Yeah.
And that feeling is great. That's the best feeling to me, like for being a DJ. And I don't know where I was going with this, but part of that, I guess, like once I found that, okay, I know how to maybe justify me playing a show, because I can do something that maybe I don't really feel. Okay, a big part of it is like, I want to go out, right? Where do I go? And like, I'm like, okay, if I can't find a place to go, maybe I should be the place.
Make your own events.
Exactly.
Exactly what we're doing at Revelry.
Exactly. Which is, kind of like the empowerment that you get. And once we start to navigate like the real world outside, right? Tickets lah, rental lah.
Electrical license, entertainment license.
Then you start to balance
like,
the opportunities and the costs involved, and people who really want to see you versus people who don't, or whatever, like. And that's how, I guess you survive.
Then what's that Lincey sound?
When? I guess it's the question.
That party?
It's kind of like house, but kind of like
chill one
No.
vibe one, or banging one.
Bro. I remember when COVID first started, and I heard freaking We Lost Dancing by Fred again. And I was like, my bro is on to something here. And then the Ballroom set came out, and I was like, holy shit, it's over. This guy is gonna take over. And I listened to that set so many times because it's so good. Legitimately, from a DJ's perspective, from a musician, but as a person, it's like it's thoroughly enjoyable. And from there, then I started to see like branches of dance music that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the Dom Dollar, Fisher, Tech House, a bit of like the Flume stuff still. I still enjoy Odessa. So how that?
Wow, Odessa coming out new album.
Yeah, but when I think about it, like how do I put this all together? Who puts it together like this? Nobody, right? I mean, to me, I couldn't think of anybody that could put it together like this. And I think because I lived it, maybe I can put it together like this. I'm lucky because I have a very stable support base who like what I like. And I think they help to give life to a lot of the vision that I have. But that's kind of the sound.
So it's like a bit of garage, a little bit of like tech house, but it's like more uplifting kind of.
No, not really uplifting. I don't know how to explain it.
Is it dark sound?
One day maybe I play a set.
Yeah, dude. It's supposed to be today, man, but you're busy lah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't have the things.
Yeah.
It's kind of a mixture. Like what I like dancing. I like music that makes you dance. I like music that also makes you feel. So, but the dancing component can be a bit more grungy, more dirty, more, I don't know, deep in a way. But then the feeling component is just a matter of like capturing people's attention and helping them to connect with you at that point in time. I wouldn't say it's uplifting. I think it's more, I don't know, man.
But it's definitely energetic rather than chill.
Oh, yes.
Rather energetic rather than chill.
Yeah.
So like a 128 kind of stuff.
126 to 128, yeah. But I do like the 140, when you play bicep, suddenly it's like you got to go up to like 138, that kind of area. There are some of the desert stuff as well.
Yeah, it's like how Fred again just transitioned to drum and bass for one song, and it just freaking makes sense, I don't understand how. Then just go back house.
Yeah.
Like as though it didn't happen. Like everybody, what?
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, garage a bit. When he plays with like Kieran and Skrillex as well, it's like country rhythm.
Anything goes, man.
Techno, Taylor Swift, which is great.
Yeah.
I think that's like kind of like what's supposed to be, like just music.
Yeah. And the audience are not one bit confused because they are like in sync.
Honestly, I'm confused sometimes. Yeah. I'm listening to this.
But look at the crowd, dude.
Yeah, I mean when I hear the dubstep drop, I'm like,
I'm damn confused.
I'm confused.
Yeah, the tempo is correct, but like why?
But the confusion is kind of part of the experience, right? This is Kieran's point. He wants to troll you. He wants to just make you feel uncomfortable, or people who think that it's not supposed to be to be. Kind of why he made that Taylor Swift bootleg, right? Because he wants the people who, I can't speak for him, but what I think is that like, he wants it to be like, hey, you know that you can make Taylor Swift a techno song, just 4/4, there's nothing else but drum, kick, hi-hat, snare, and Taylor Swift.
Yeah, and Taylor Swift, yeah.
And Taylor Swift.
Correct.
And it can be underground as you can be, or it can be as mainstream as you can be. It's up to you.
I saw the front row guy, right, when they are DJing in the bus, he's like so confused. He's so confused. He want to like headbang to this, but I don't know how.
People have the expectation. I mean, it's kind of the same kind of process. Like you go to a night, all the nights you go to or you play, they always ask you, what's the music? What's the music?
Yeah.
You always ask me, so what's the music? I don't reply them. Can you give me a playlist? I don't have a playlist, bro. Come or don't come. Up to you. I don't know. I can't tell you what it is.
Yeah. So speaking of like theme nights where everybody's like very into, right? You also created like literally the biggest theme night of that period, Total Recall. Yeah. So how did that even came to be?
Wow, this is a great story.
Dude, I remember that I was there in the behind the scenes where we were just like talking nonsense, brainstorming and stuff, and then we made it happen.
Okay. Yeah. So how it happened was, in the past, I used to do Velvet, right? Velvet dance.
Yeah.
Was it with you? With Jeremy?
On off lah.
On off. But you know that Velvet, right? When it's 4 a.m, what happens?
I don't know, man. Because most of the time I'm with Cold Flow. Yeah.
So at Velvet 4 a.m, all the rules go out the window. I just play whatever song I like.
Yeah, and Zouk last time can extend until whenever.
Yeah, 5:30 also can.
Yeah.
So 4 a.m, I look at my watch, I'm like, okay, 4 a.m, we can play anything. So at that point in time, I can play like Chance the Rapper, I can play like The Killers, I can play Coldplay, I can play whatever. Doesn't really matter. What mattered was that people got it, right? So that was number one. Number two was I then got asked to play Mambo Jumbo. And when I played Mambo Jumbo, Jeremy Boone gave me a thumb drive of opening set music.
Yeah.
I look at it, I'm like, I don't know like 80% of these songs. I only know like the Banana Rama, that kind of the big stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, how can I play it if I don't know it? So I was like, okay, fine. Let me understand what Mambo Jumbo is. Mambo Jumbo was the representation of top 40s music at that time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be retro.
Yeah.
Right? When it first started, it was top 40s, right? Because that song was the song popular then.
Yeah.
Just that the people who went for it never kind of got out of it, and that was kind of the only thing that it got known for.
Yeah.
But if you go today, Elgin or Jeremy Boone, they still play like Taylor Swift or Katy Perry or whatever. Because Mambo Jumbo's core identity is not supposed to be retro, it's just pop music.
Yeah.
So I took that and I thought to myself, okay, I can play. I can play pop music. But I play pop music what I know how to play. Right? So what I knew was like Britney Spears, Crazy Town, A1,
90s, 2000s.
yeah, Timberland, whatever, right? And it worked. We had a great time. But there was one song that I was not sure whether I can play, and that was J-Cho.
Oh. I mean, there was quite a strong resistance at first, but you pushed through.
So that was the first time I played J-Cho, was in Mambo Jumbo in Zouk main room.
Yeah.
I was very nervous because I was like, is it racist? Like, can I play a Chinese song? Like, is it? But then I told myself that, I'm Chinese and I don't understand the song at all. So if I don't understand the song and I like it, what's stopping somebody else?
Yeah.
So like, okay, fine. 12:30, I think, around there, I see, and that song is what I used to bring them down. I kill it. But you kill it with something that they thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I play it and the whole club is rocking.
Yeah.
I know it, I feel it. It's something that it's just like, wow. It's just, this is I think it's called Xian Dan Ai, right?
Yeah.
It's a kind of a mid-tempo song. rocking. I finished my set. I go upstairs, I see Island. Island is like, oh my god, you played J-Tro.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I played J-Tro in Zouk main room. And I was kind of pleased with how it went. It was packed.
Yeah.
But the next day, gonna fuck.
All like social media,
Yeah,
on real life and everything.
all the mumbo jumbo
purists.
were very, very upset.
Yeah.
They're like, no, who is this guy? Don't never
Blasphemy.
Never let him come back again. And it's also okay, fine. I won't play anymore.
Yeah.
It's that thing, you know. I can't hijack it, but that gave me an idea. I feel like, okay, I know that some people liked it.
Yeah.
They may not be the mumbo crowd,
Yeah.
but where do they go for this?
Yeah.
So then, one of the Thursday nights, I said, okay, let's take the Velvet 4 a.m. plus the Mambo Jumbo and combine it into a night.
And that was really new Zouk already.
That was really new Zouk already.
So it's like Capital Thursday night.
It was a future Thursday night
Future
first.
Thursday
So I called Brian, Fantastic Dinosaur.
Fantastic Dinosaur, yes.
And I was like, hey, you know, like, you want to try this with me? It's like, okay, let's try. So you do Thursday night, free entry, whatever, and rocking, right? Because you just know the kind of tempo that you want to set. So it's from what we know from Mambo, whatever. And then we did, and then after we were like, okay, fine, I think it's working, and we go to Capital. That's how it started.
And it became one of the most lucrative nights on the ROI spectrum. And also it's like home to like so many like celebrities, influencers and stuff. Yeah, it literally is your, I don't know, Vegas in Singapore or something like that. It's so crazy and we can't even get to you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, hey, I work here. It's like, we cannot even get to you, you know. It's like swamped with people around. Yeah, it's like boiler room, you know.
There was it was not just me, to be fair, because the team at that point in time was perfect. Literally perfect. People at the bar, the front office, downstairs, marketing, security, everybody knew exactly how to handle a night like this.
Yeah.
And therefore, the entire experience for guest was like amazing.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. Like people were like 3 months booked at a time.
Yeah.
Because when you go, everybody from the start of the service flow to the end knows exactly what they're doing, and it just was a very, very special. Which is why, like you say, ROI, whatever, it did as well as it did because it was just like combination of all the good things that Zouk had going for.
Yeah, the cogs all in place, everything. The system.
Yeah, booking
smooth.
system. Yeah, you know, like reservations, guest list, everything was there.
Yeah. One person never show up, then straight away got another guest to top up. Wow. Yeah.
Smooth. I'm very nostalgic about it because it's such a. It feels like it can't happen again.
Yeah, and of course, with all Zouk nights, Zouk own the IP.
Yes.
As usual. Do you foresee yourself doing your own spin-off since you kind of like created a concept or rather pioneer this movement?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am. For the moment that I left, okay, so I left Zouk, but I did Total Recall still, right? But then COVID happened, then we stopped.
Yeah.
But from that point on, I knew that it was something that I wanted to do. But the big problem for me was knowing that the night did as well as it did. I was not.
Got like expectations and.
Yeah, in a way, but also like, you know, from my own career, right? From the first time I was at Velvet Lounge, I was very aware of bar sales because I understand that was what killed a night or made a night, right? It's why you put it all together at the end of the day again.
Yeah.
It's all about that, right?
Yeah.
So when Total Recall started, I knew what was the bar sales. I knew what was the bar sales for a normal, regular Total Recall night, and I knew how far we had gone past that at the end. So obviously, you know, the club took most of it, and they took the IP and all of that as well. So now that I'm thinking about doing it again, a big part of it for me is to be able as an artist to monetize your value appropriately based on the ROI you can bring in.
Yeah, correct.
And I haven't found a venue. I mean, you can speak to all the venues, right? But they don't really want to pay DJs that much money. certain clubs say like, we don't pay local DJs so much, for example.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard it before.
Yeah.
And then so the task was then put onto me to say like, okay, fine. If nobody wants to pay me what I think is worth the night, then
one of the leg come out. Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
If nobody wants to pay me what I think the night is worth, then I'll try and do it myself. But then like you say, you
the
got
ops
PE,
guy,
you gotta do it. Yeah, you gotta do all the other stuff.
Yeah. So maybe I guess you got a lot of friends that like that kind of sound. Maybe you can like form like a mini team or something.
Yeah, so it is in the works.
Yeah. Fantastic Dinosaur and Gang.
It is in the works. Big part of it is actually venue. So if anybody knows a venue that wants to host us,
yeah, and a big part of Total Recall success is also like you say, it was at Capital and everybody knows their shit. You know?
Yeah.
Everything is so smooth, you know.
Yeah.
So wow, how do you find another venue that's like that?
it's very tough. Yeah,
Tough.
That's true.
Yeah, and people that has the experience to run it also.
Yeah, I miss the people that worked there a lot. Earl, Juan, they really knew what they were doing. Really, really good. Really experts in their field.
Yeah, that's the thing. And for a night like Total Recall, right, it's super chaotic. It's like so many people. It's like Saruman's army.
It is.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was very open to going back, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, so many factors also. Yeah, okay. Then maybe we can kind of like close this off. Definitely, right? There will be like part 2 to this conversation. Wow, this is like, dude, I don't even think it's like halfway there. We got like so much shit to say. Yeah, but maybe you can like plug some of the upcoming stuff other than the music that you're writing, right? That's coming out. Is there gonna be like more Lincey theme parties, which is like the artist sound?
Yes, for sure. So the main idea is one party every 2 months, and then rotate between the DJ sound and the Total Recall sound.
Oh, okay. One party every 2 months.
So 6 parties a year, 3 each.
Oh, okay.
At my age, also people are not going out as much. So I think like we want to spread it out a bit first.
Right.
Also because I have many commitments now. Therefore, like trying to do everything at the same time is a bit challenging.
Yeah.
So I want to go to a place where I can just play the music.
Yeah.
But now I can't. Now I got to do like the ops things and all the other stuff. Yeah,
we can collab, man.
No, yeah.
I mean, we already talked about it like 2-3 months ago, right? We're supposed to do something. Yeah. We'll see. Okay, I think that's all. Revelry podcast with Lincey. Thank you so much.